Ta-da! Hello and welcome to another episode of My Brain is a Circus Tent on Fire. Today we're making a video about a whole bunch of things that I learned this week that I was interested in. We're gonna mash them together and make hopefully an interesting video about it. So I was reading J.P. Coovert's Dungeons and Dragons zine, and it's so good, so interesting, and I was like, I wanna make a Dungeons and Dragons zine. At the same time, I was playing LA Noir, which is a fine game. And it got me like really wanting to make like a noir detective-y sort of thing. So I was like, oh, what if I make a Dungeons and Dragons zine that is like a pulp sort of noir thing? But then I got into researching like how to make a zine, and I learned that there's like this whole subculture of zine making. Maybe I don't want to, confine myself to a Dungeons and Dragons zine. We're gonna make a like pulpy noir, arty sort of collage zine, hopefully. Hopefully it turns out cool. So something I did off camera because I thought it would be boring for you to just watch me think, basically, is I wrote the whole story and I formatted it in InDesign to look like basically what it's going to look like. And this was sort of just to get an idea of where the text was going to go and like how many pages and the spacing and stuff like that. But the texture of collaging and analog stuff is really important to me. So one of the things that I want to do is type on my typewriter all of this and then scan it back into the computer so that it has that more tactile texture to it. And that's what we're going to do next. And so then once I scanned everything, I took it into Photoshop where I removed the white so that was just the black, and then I dragged it over into InDesign, and that's where I replaced the typed font with the scans of the typewriter font. And then this took 100 years, so if anybody knows how to right orient typewriter font in a way easier than this, let me know. Okay, so now is the part that I don't know how it's gonna work, how it's gonna look. We're gonna try printing it. Oh, that's it, it's done. Okay, let's chop it. So one of the things that I bought for this fun little project is this paper cutter. And as you can see, all the pages are on one side, so like a future me thing is gonna have to figure out how to print the other way, but it doesn't matter. So in theory, I should be able to cut all of these in one swoop. The booklet together. So here we have it. We have the first printing of the zine, and the printing at this point doesn't have any images, so it was time for me to fix that. Okay, so it is the next day because I got tired and bored yesterday. What I've started to do is I've taken my collection of Vogue magazines and just ripped out pages of things that are interesting. And originally I was going to get a X-Acto knife and cut out the things that I was interested in, do like a righteous collage. What I'm actually gonna do is I'm just gonna scan everything, just full pages, and then I'm going to digitally collage it. I want to take a moment and just sort of talk about my artistic intent. I want this to be good, but I'm also like not focusing too heavily on it being good. It's mostly just about the act of doing it, because I find that I meet a lot of resistance within myself when it comes to making something, because I'm like, that's gotta be really good and this won't be good, so like, why do it? So this is mostly just an exercise in creating the thing, not necessarily in creating a masterpiece. So that being said, let's get scanning. Okay, so now I just really want to take an opportunity to complain about HP printers being the single worst technological development in the history of humanity. Like, they don't do the one thing they're supposed to do. They never work. I don't understand how has nobody made a good printer yet? Like, anyway, once you scan these, they'll sort of look like this. I really do love the color after I said everything I said about HP. Then you just select chunks of it, drop it into Photoshop. So as I sit here and edit the pages, adding scans from the magazine, I'm sort of realizing that I think it will feel more like of a personal, collective project if I use pictures that I've taken and if I take some pictures. So first I'm going to use the old hard drive, see if I got any images that I've taken over the last couple of years that could work. And then I think I'm going to go and actually take photos of some of the places that are mentioned in the zine, since they're real places and they're close by, you know, because I think that will just add sort of a more personal touch. So this is a picture Zach Fowler took of me in like 2016, and it's one of my favorite pictures, so I'm definitely going to include it. What you want to do, whoever's doing this, you just desaturate it, control the blacks and the shadows and stuff so that it looks like the way you want it to print. And then you begin to actually collage the images and, you know, arrange it in a way that looks cool. You export that as a PNG with transparency, and you drag it over to InDesign and line it up like you had it in Photoshop. There is one part in the comic that I wanted to seem like a ransom letter because I thought it would be funny, so I painstakingly cut out letters like a ransom note, and then I wanted the cover to have some texture, but I was printing it on red, so in order to make sure that it showed up clearly, I just used some black lines, added some crystals to the back because, you know, it's thematically and symbolically significant, even though my drawing is bad, but I think that actually adds to the charm. And then my first attempt at printing it was tail to toe instead of head to head, so I had to print it again, and it looked pretty good this time. Here's the other side. Na, 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 na. Feeling groovy. Here it is, the printed at-home version. Ignore the fact that there's staples on the wrong side. I stapled it out of order, and it fucked everything up. But this is what it looks like. I'm super pleased with it. Obviously, my printer's not very good, but I think it's ready for me to send to Staples. So I'm going to print. The cover is going to be on red cardstock, so hopefully that looks cool too. It's here, and it looks so good. Here, actually, let me move you a little closer. Look at that. Ooh, it is pretty. Okay, so the table is a little bit wobbly, which means I'm gonna do the cutting here on the ground. I'm gonna make one book first, just to make sure it all goes according to plan, and then we'll go into the other ones. And look, here it is, the final product, the zine. There's a lot of, you know, look at that. The paper quality, incredible. The printing quality looks so good. So yeah, this is a 1 of 20. I'm going to make 20 of them. I cut my thumb pretty good on the old guillotine. Yeah, so I made 20 of them. Some of them, the staples are kind of fucked up. Some of them, the cutting is kind of fucked up. But if you want one, send me an email. I put the email to send it to in the description. Send an email, sit with your address, and maybe we should put a code word. Code word will be broad. Like, you know how in noirs they always call women broads.
Probably another sad sack who lost his temper with a broad who wouldn't put out. Are you a suspect, Rusty?
So that'll be it. That's the code word, broad. Yeah, I have 20, so first 20 people will get one. There you go. Thanks for watching. That's the whole video, I think. Let's do it again sometime. Okay, look at this. I have to clean my apartment. This place is a mess. See you.